After discovering a prince inside a chest, our courageous heroes were tasked with taking Prince Newt into the perilous depths of Darkwood, to a place where all humans are imprisoned when they fall into Torus. They set forth on their journey, accompanied by their trusty guide, Sparrowmind, the wise and mysterious Firbolg. However, fate had a different plan in store for our heroes, for they came upon an ancient temple overrun by evil creatures, Rootlings, dark beings steeped in malevolent magic. With stealth and courage they infiltrated the temple. A clash of swords, the crackling of spells. Fire was unleashed within the ancient halls as our heroes fought valiantly against the Rootlings. Yet, amidst the chaos, a desperate cry pierced the air, a plea in a language known only to Harold's keen hearing. Without hesitation, he followed the sound, leading his companions through the winding tunnels of the temple until at last they found an Arrowhawk ensnared by the wicked Rootlings. But time was of the essence, for the alarm had been raised, and now the Rootlings surge forth with malevolence in their eyes and are closing in on our valiant adventurers.
So, as we begin now, I'd like everyone to please roll initiative.
8 for me
18.
and Liliana.
18.
Scaffolding falls around you and Rootlings drop into the pool. Morris, you're the first to react.
I'm still in tiger form. Who can I reach as a tiger?
You can't yet reach anyone on the island or on the scaffolding around the island, but you can hit the ones that Harold blasted off into the pool.
Yeah, I can do that.
Is it good to assume that you're going to pounce on them in tiger form?
Yes, claw attack. 17 plus 5.
As he's already prone, you dive forward and there's a huge splash of water around you as your claws dig into his chest, and as you rip them out, you notice that black ooze is pouring out of his open wounds. For how much damage, please?
8 damage.
In a panic, he grabs his short sword and cuts upwards. 13 to hit.
Yes, that hits.
5 points of slashing damage as the sword cuts up into your flesh. With your head turning, the second Rootling lunges forwards. 21 to hit, and 8 points of slashing damage again. His sword just catches your ear and you feel some bleeding down the side of your face. Liliana and Bastards. You do hear the sound of whizzing arrows as they fly past you and clatter into the rocks behind you.
I sing beautifully to cast blindness on them both. Constitution of 14 they need.
First one got a 7, the second one a natural 20.
So the first one is blinded for a minute.
So as you begin singing, everything seems to slow down as these two Rootlings look at you. You notice that the first one, its inky black eyes seem to be honed in on you in a distracted, dazed kind of way, whereas the one on the right completely overcomes your magic and begins raising his bow towards you now.
How deep is this water?
It's about 2 or 3 feet.
I'll run at the ones with Morris. Stab with a couple of daggers. That's an 8 and an 11.
As you step into this water and you feel more at home again, you begin spinning around with the daggers, but neither of them are able to make contact with the Rootlings.
So I'm gonna bite that same dude. 9.
With your head still bleeding, you pounce again on this Rootling. He skirts around you, tries to attack you with a 14 to hit. He dodges again and his sword slashes across your shoulder. 5 points of slashing damage once again.
Okay.
Second one who just dodged an attack by Liliana with a lunge through the water that's splashing up around. 21 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
5 points of piercing damage as the sword is lunged through the water and you feel a slice across your arm. The blinded one just stumbles to one side a little bit as the one up there who wasn't blinded aims an attack at Harold with another natural 20 to hit.
Oh gosh, yeah.
You're raising your eyes, Harold, as you feel it underneath your wing, and as you screech in pain, you see this thing give a really wicked grin. As then Morris, with a 18 to hit, you feel an arrow come into your side as well, and as you look up, you see on the scaffolding above you to your right as well, there's another rootling who's appeared and joining the fight, and that is 5 points of damage.
Oh, good.
And as this arrow strikes, you make a Constitution saving throw.
A 3.
You feel your energy begin to drain from you as if something is sucking it out of you. And you feel as your tiger legs, they begin shrinking down back into the size and shape of your hedgehog legs, as this energy seems to be draining out from where the arrow has struck you.
Oh no.
Are they wearing anything metal?
So the ones up top, their arms end kind of in claws, but they're wearing some kind of iron gauntlet over the top of these.
I mean, I can cast heat metal. That's my plan. I'm going to do that at level 3, so it's going to be 3d8 fire damage. The one that isn't blind.
That's a natural 2, so...
Fire damage of 12. He's got disadvantage on attack rolls.
How are you casting the spell?
Bagpipes. Just loud, noisy. Yeah.
There's a ripple in the water as you begin playing these bagpipes, as then searing hot red energy shoots out of the bagpipes, lighting up the cavern as it strikes the Rootling's gauntlet, which begins glowing with the same energy, as his arms seem to be leaking some kind of ink.
I'm getting a bit panicky, but I'll stab again. 25 to hit with one, and 8 with the other. 5 damage to the one that hit me.
You slash across with the first dagger and it opens up a wound which begins sizzling, and this thing recoils as you try and get a swipe in with the second dagger, but it's dodging out of the way and that second attack misses. You hear another whistle in the air as Bastet launches her second Yukulwa. She's aiming it at the blind rootling, and as it flies up, you just hear a thud as it lodges in the beams up above.
I'm gonna bite the same guy with a natural 1.
Stretching forwards to take a bite out of this thing's neck, it ducks to one side and tries to get an attack against you. And with an 18 to hit again, as its sword slashes up across your face. As the one that Liliana you attack with a dagger, it's going to try and attack you with an 8 to hit. You feel a splash of water up your side as its sword strikes the water instead. The blind one makes a Constitution saving throw of 8, and so remains blinded. As the other one on this ledge, it's trying to take these gauntlets off still, and is unable to.
So as I'll do my bonus action first of heat metal on the same guy. 13.
The final note of your bagpipe resounds across as the gauntlet brightens and it now begins melting down his arm. Screaming in pain, it dives off the ledge, arm first, to try and land in the pool of water, which he lands on the surface of with a squelch, and then it begins sizzling as his body disintegrates.
So my main action, because that was a bonus one, I'm going to use my longbow. The blind guy up at the top, let's put him out of his misery. That's an 11 to hit.
You aim an arrow at the blind guy and shoot upwards, but instead it strikes the wood right next to Bastard's Yukulwa.
I reluctantly pull the bean that my mother put in my pocket. So I'm going to take like this step back. I'm casting Gust of Wind, 10 feet wide, 60 feet long. At the start of their turn, they have to succeed on a strength saving throw, otherwise they'll be pushed 15 feet away.
You take this bean out and it glows as a huge intense wind rushes past you. Seeing that Morris is injured, Bastard's going to run forward and try and pull this thing away from you with a 16 to hit. So it takes 2 points of damage as she yanks it away from Morris.
I'm gonna bite the person Bastet just hit with a 22. 1d10 plus 3. 10 damage.
Feel both your claws pull into his flesh and rip him apart, and lands in the water, which begins disintegrating, as all that remains in your claws is the rotting clothing that he was wearing, as this warm black substance washes around your ankles. With the wind pushing against them, these Rootlings are going to do the strength saving throw of the first one with 10, and the next one is a 7.
Not enough, need 14. He goes 15 feet back.
Both the rootling in the water near Liliana and the one on the scaffolding above you fly backwards. The one up top falls off the scaffolding and lands in the cave just behind it, as the second one's head strikes a rock inside the water. And the only one who's able to attack is the one who's blind, with a Constitution save of 16.
Yeah.
So his eyes now begin to focus and hone in on Harold, and he raises his bow now and shoots a very quick arrow at you. 7 to hit though.
That does not hit.
You just feel the wind of an arrow go underneath your left leg.
I'm going to cast Fireball on him, please. That is 18. 11 damage.
The cavern is lit with a warm glow once again as your armour brightens and shoots out a firebolt as it screeches and takes a stumbling step off the side, and in a pillar of smoke his body vanishes, and with another wet slap on the water you just see a small pool of this black substance once again.
I'm going to throw him a trident.
Nice.
15 to hit. Just the one just in front of me. 4 damage.
You throw your trident, and the wind behind it strikes so quickly into its chest. All 3 prongs have gone right through it, and there's just a shaft is sticking out of it now. Basta, inspired by your attack, is going to run forward to try and hit it as well, but the wind catches her off guard, and she misjudges the attack and falls to the side instead.
I'm gonna bite. 14 to hit. 6 damage.
Your jaw locks around its shoulder, and as you rip out, you're sprayed with this black ink as his body falls to the side and disintegrates in smoke once again. The only one that seems to be left up here is in the cave up above you, with his strength saving throw of 12. He falls backwards, and you hear some rocks crumble up there as if he's hit his head against the side of one.
I'll have a go with the firebolt again, please. 14 to hit.
14 hits.
15 damage.
With a twinkling of glitter in the air again, Harold, you blast off some fire, which illuminates the cave inside, and you hear just a screech from in there. You see this rootling rush out, but as he's taking running steps, his legs give way, as you see this fire spreading up to his face until he takes even that, and he is no more. As Harold, you hear another cry from the Arrowhawk.
I would like to go speak to it, please.
I'd like to pick up my trident. I feel in this moment you should probably do a strength saving throw as well.
16.
That's enough.
Oh, good. While Harold does that, can me and Bastic go on a hunt to get the others?
As the wind calms down, the waters stop and calm also. As Harold, you fly up to look at this island, and you see this Arrowhawk on here, but also 2 other Rootlings. You see one arrow fly above you and the other one to your side as they whistle further into the cavern again. Basta and Morris, you spot one in one of the boats on the water.
I'm gonna pounce. It needs to do a DC 13 strength saving throw.
You misjudge the pounce as you land on the boat, and as the boat tilts upwards, this Rootling maintains its balance, as Basta rushes up behind you as well. But as the boat's still swaying, she just dives forward and misses him by an inch.
Firebolt again, I think. 24 to hit. 15 damage.
Harold locks eyes with one of the Rootlings, and with a blast of fire, he explodes outwards with feathers and smoke, and he is dead very instantly. As the second one takes another shot at you, Harold, with just a 5 to hit. You duck to one side as the arrow flies over your shoulder, but the one on the boat goes for Morris. 19 to hit.
Yes.
As his sword cuts across your back.
I'm gonna heal. 2d8. 8.
I'm going to climb up to be near Harold.
So you climb up the scaffolding to see the Arrowhawk and Harold flying above you.
I want to cast Vicious Mockery at the other one.
Go ahead.
It's a wisdom saving throw.
Natural 3.
3 points of psychic damage.
What is it you're saying to him?
Some kind of like Shakespearean line. Let's go with that.
You begin quoting the richest Shakespeare that you know, as with confused eyes it begins looking upwards, and then it just screeches in agony as the head's trying to wrap around what you've just said. As the one in the boat goes for Bastard with a 19 to hit, she's going to take 8 points of slashing damage as his short sword comes across her.
Okay, bite. Natural 20. 10 damage.
You lunge forward and grab his heart out of his chest, and his body begins dissolving around you as you yank it out, and it still pulses in your mouth. As you spit it out onto the boat, it begins sizzling a hole in the boat itself, and he is completely dead.
Now that I've had a moment to think and realise that I've used my magic, I'm going to feel very embarrassed. I'm going to cast a fog cloud.
What's embarrassing about your magic?
I like my magic.
Okay.
I'm going to focus it on me. It's a fog cloud of 60-foot radius. Because I want to hide my shame.
With more panic as your hands are glowing, you scream, and as you scream, dust rises up around you, and the entire surroundings are now completely obscured. We'll all now roll with disadvantage.
I'm going to use Wand of Magic Missiles.
I hate to be a stickler,
What?
but read your description.
Each dart hits a creature of your choice that you can see within range. Let's go with Earth Tremor then.
The save is natural 20. So from inside this dust cloud you hear the rocks turning and churning, and you like to assume that you've done some damage to this thing, but then a split second later an arrow flies out between Harold and Liliana, narrowly missing both of you.
I'm not doing anything different. I'm sat down. Just by the way, this can last up to an hour.
So you sit inside your dust and remain focused on the spell.
I'm just going to shoot an arrow into there. Let's go with the longbow.
So you have to roll with disadvantage on that.
Oh, that was 19. The next one is 22 with a natural 20, but the disadvantage is 19,
So please do your damage.
8 damage.
As you fire your arrow into this dust cloud, you hear a squeal from the inside.
I make note of where the squeal came from.
As then through the dust around you, you see the Rootling land at your feet as it's trying to attack Liliana.
Can I growl to scare it?
You can make an intimidation check.
6.
You snarl, but it doesn't seem to even hear you as it's landed.
I'm going to lunge with my daggers then. Still disadvantage, I assume.
Yeah, it would be.
12 to hit with one, and 11 to hit with the other.
You dive on the ground with both daggers, but they land on either side of its head, and you just see the black eyes stare up at you.
Let's go with my longbow again. I mean, a natural 1, you can't really get lower than that, so a 3 to hit.
Your natural 1 will hit, but you get to choose which of your fellow party members it hits instead.
Liliana.
Liliana, does your spell require concentration?
Yep.
Damage is 8.
So you'll take 8 damage, and then your concentration check would be...
Oh, 24.
So with an arrow striking your back, you'll be able to maintain concentration as this cloud remains around you. And then, Morris, through the dust, you see the shadow rising up to meet you, and it seems to have lost its short sword. With its claw, it cuts through into your side. Please make a Constitution saving throw.
6.
18 points of piercing damage.
Go back into my hedge form.
Its claw cuts right into your side, and as it pulls out, you see the same inky black stuff that comes out of them is now coming out of you. And out of this wound, you feel your magic ebbing away as you turn back into your hedgehog form, and you just feel drained from this.
Can I use conjure animals? So I'm going to go with 2 beasts, challenge rating 1 or lower.
So you raise your staff, and the dust around you begins glowing some kind of green with the magic, and through that you're able to hear the sound of rushing animal footsteps, but you're not able to make out what you've conjured through the dust.
Stabby daggers. 15 to hit with one, 12 to hit with the other.
15 hits.
6 damage.
As this rootling is raising another claw to strike you, you see a dagger and then a hand come through it as it disintegrates in a puddle around you. Morris, you see the faint features of Liliana looking anguished through the dust.
Liliana, where are you? I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on you.
All you can hear is, I don't deserve it, sobbing.
Okay, who else needs Cure Wounds? I do, but I can't do it on myself, can I?
Yeah, you can.
You can do it on yourself?
It's a touch spell, so any creature that you can touch.
Oh my gosh, so this entire 5 years of playing D&D, I have not known that I can cure my own wounds. Right, well, I'll do it on myself then.
Do you need any more?
Probably, yeah, I could only do 6 there.
Okay.
I mean,
well,
I could do it again on myself, but...
You've got 9.
Oh, thank you. I will go over to see the Arrowhawk and see if I can have a chat with him.
The tips of the 4 wings of this Arrowhawk are chained to 4 posts that are secured down on quite a shallow stone dome, and it twists its head under one of its wings to try and look at you, Harold.
Are the posts wooden?
No, these are also made of stone, and they go through the floor.
I'll try and speak to him then. Hi. I will wave again. Signature Harold wave.
The Arrowhawk screeches back at you in Oran. Hello! He then gestures towards the chains around him. Can you get me out of these?
I'm not sure. If these were wooden, I could help because I can heat metal. I have like a fire thing.
Most fire!
Okay, no fire, no fire.
I fall asleep. The cloud goes away.
As you fall asleep, the dust just settles around you all.
I realise it's stone, and I say, I can possibly get rid of these.
My friend can help get rid of the...
It would have to be in 8 hours, if he can wait that long.
I relay this information.
There'll be more rootlings coming. Can you take them on?
We can try. How many hours have you been here?
The sky has changed several times.
Who are you?
I am Kalak.
Hi, I'm Harold.
He tries to pronounce your name Harold, but he can't do it, so it's more of like a Harold.
Harold? Call me Harry if you like. We can try and help you. I say, look, I can cause an earthquake that can damage the stone. Are you okay with that?
I suppose.
He'll have to do a dexterity save to see if he gets damaged or not.
He looks down at the stone dome that he's on top of. You might break it. I might fall through.
I just do it anyway.
Okay.
His dexterity check will be with disadvantage. 8 altogether.
That's a fail. 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Some of the stone dome around you begins crumbling away as he takes this damage, and the screech resounds around this cavern.
I have 4 slots, so I could do it at each post.
So you go into each of these posts and blast a spell, and the rock begins crumbling away at each post. As in each post you go around, it also blasts a huge chunk out of the rock beneath it. But as you begin to make your way to the 4th one, the entire stone dome gives way and crumbles into the ground. as Kalark is tied by one chain as he's being dragged down and held up by one post with his entire wings being stretched. And with a strength, natural 29 strength check, he pulls up with his wing and it ends up ripping off this last bit of rock. He flexes his wings and you hear cracking bones as he's stretching up, as then he perches towards the side. As dust and debris rises from this hole that you've just created, you seem to be looking down into some kind of crypt.
Healing word.
How many hit points does that recover?
8.
Light bursts out from your hand and covers his wing. You hear the bones crack more as this gold magic rests on him. His wing comes down really smoothly, and then with relaxed eyes, he hisses something at you in Auran.
He says thanks.
Oh, it's okay.
I peer down into the dusty old chamber.
This would be the time Bastet would push Harold down.
It would be. With your dark vision, you can see that there are like candles down there that are unlit, but besides that, you can't see further from up here.
Harold,
Yeah?
before you fly down or do anything rash, could you tell the bird...
I am the king of rash.
Oh yeah, get that checked out by a doctor.
Could you tell the bird what we're planning and ask if we can help?
I will go and quickly say, we've been tasked with taking a human to Darkwood, but there's a revolution. Do you want to join?
Humans are not to be trusted.
But these people are not nice to the humans. This one's nice.
Please make a persuasion check.
26.
I am deeply indebted to you, Harold.
Would you be willing to fly some of us out of Darkwood once we've caused some havoc?
That is possible.
Let's do that then. So we'll arrive there in a day, say tomorrow night. Can you be there and help us get out?
Yes, I can help. I shall meet you tomorrow at nightfall.
With heavy beats of wings, he flies up through the shaft of light that's above you.
Great. I would like to investigate this crypt. I will wave the others over and maybe wait Liliana. Is everyone coming over?
Yes.
I will cautiously fly in and check for traps.
Could you make an investigation check, please?
That is a 10.
You cautiously head down, eyes peeled for traps, but you don't notice anything suspicious. And you fly down into a crypt which seems very empty.
I tie some rope to one of the rocks nearby. Abseil down.
You can just make a straight up intelligence check, please.
It's a natural one.
You tie this rope and it seems to hold your weight, and as you begin abseiling down, it gives way and you fall down. 10 points of bludgeoning damage as you land on your back. And as you're raising your head really dazed after falling, the rest of the rope comes down after it, and a little bit of rock flies down as well and just hits you on your head and just makes you drop down again.
I made it!
Yeah, no.
I'm watching from the edge of the hole.
Morris, as you get up and begin brushing the dust off you and Harold look around. There's a life-sized crumbling statue of a fox, and it seems to be holding some kind of stone tray or a tablet of some kind, and resting on this tablet is a very ancient, dusty, spiderweb-filled book. Besides that, there are loads of stone arches in this place, and inside of each arch is an unlit candle, and what seems to be boxes that line the room as well.
Can I have a look at the book?
You make your way over to the book, and as you close it to have a look at the front cover, you notice that it is a very ancient copy of the Arbitura.
Copy of the what now?
The Arbitura. It is the holy book of the land.
Ooh, can I read it?
I light the candles.
What language is it written in?
It's written in common, but like an old common.
I'd like to read some of it, please.
I light all the torches around with Druidcraft.
So Morris waves his staff around the crypt. All the candles in this room begin lighting up as the dank, cold air is also filled now with a spiced aroma. As under this light, Harold, you begin leafing through this book and notice that there are chapters in this book which are essentially the minutes of meetings, and all these chapters are basically what the gods want people of Torus to know. So obviously these chapters are on strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. You also notice chapters and proverbs and wisdom on love by the seventh banished god.
I'd like to find love. I read some of the love ones.
You begin reading quotes and proverbs and stories and advice from the god Weirdway on love. And feeling inspired, you turn back to the start of the book and you notice on the very first page there is a faint paw print in very, very old blood. As then written in blood, you notice the faint marks of the words that say, "We are leaving this here for a time when these words need to be read once again."
You said that they were little, like, boxes or something. Can I investigate those?
As you head around the room opening and examining some of these boxes, you notice that they have stuff like salt and spices inside of them. And then you notice in one of the arches is quite a small, 2-foot long locked chest.
I take all the boxes.
Sweet, you can add to your inventory 16 boxes of spices.
I'll take the book. How do we get out?
Well, I'm gonna just fly out.
How do I get out?
Go down the rope.
Oh, thanks. Can you attach it to the rocks?
Or just a strong person.
Bastard?
I contribute to 0. I got a natural 1, my strength is -1.
Oh no. You think you're helping Bastard, but really you're just holding the rope behind her. And they're able to lift you out of this crypt, Morris. I'm guessing you're all heading back out of the trapdoor into the evening.
So I'd like to do that, and then I would like to have a long rest.
So as you head out of this temple into the evening light, you see Sparrowman sat out on the grass with Daughter, and they seem to have made up some kind of gesture game. Looks almost like rock, paper, scissors, but they're using both hands. So Sparrowman holds up 3 fingers on one hand and a fist in the other. Daughter smirks and just clicks with both fingers. Sparrowman laughs and accepts defeat. And then Newt gives a small laugh as well and gives a handful of berries over to Daughter as a prize. So they've clearly just invented some kind of game in your absence.
Oh no, they've bonded.
As Daughter puts these berries into a little pouch and then she puts the pouch around her neck, she looks up and says, "Oh, you're all back."
We're just covered in like oil.
Why did we go in there in the first place?
I was curious.
Oh, there was like a golden fox or something, wasn't there? And then like we just got distracted.
It was the shrines.
Yeah, I'd like to take it. We could use it as like a bribe of some. It's solid
Oh,
gold.
yeah.
I think it'll come in handy. It'll be worth.
It's a fox. Some people might not want it.
Why?
Well, the fox is weird way.
Oh, the god.
Yeah, the
Oh.
rejected god.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, maybe they want to like melt down the gold and turn it into a god that they like.
that's like melting down Mary and turning it into Thor.
Wait. I can heat metal. I can change it into something else. I'm going to have a long rest and then I'm going to I'm going to heat metal and then use Mage Hand to reshape it into something new.
Would you like me to turn into a tiger for reference?
Do you want to pose for it? Are we
Yeah.
I'll reshape this into a tiger.
So as you all begin resting by the campfire, the idea comes to Harold to reshape it, suggesting the idea to Morris. Morris, you turn back into your tiger form and begin posing.
Wait, I've got an idea. Can I split it into 6 and make each one?
Sure, yeah.
Because then it's like the full set. Like, even if it's crap quality, we can say that it's primitive, it is solid gold.
Okay, I'll let you make a religion check for this one. That is the best natural 20 we've ever had in the game.
I love Harold.
As Morris poses as a tiger, you realise this isn't going to work, so you spend a bit longer in your long rest, pacing backwards and forwards, scratching your head, trying to work out something, and then the idea comes to you to make 6. Over a couple of hours, you're able to heat the metal, use Mage Hand as your expertise to craft 6 of these gods into perfect likeness. So you can also add a point of inspiration and 25 XP per figure that's been crafted.
Thank you.
So as you all complete your long rest and morning comes, you begin making the final day's journey towards Darkwood. You're heading now into a valley. There are massive hills on each side of you and you see the wood looming up ahead. And the closer you get, the darker it seems to be. The trees of this forest aren't like normal trees. They are, as the name might suggest, very dark, and so the leaves are practically black, and a dark grey mist seems to be coming out from this wood itself. And the land that has been quite lush and bright for the past couple of days is nowhere near as vibrant as the rest of the place has been. And as Sparrowmind is walking up ahead, he then stops in the middle of the road, holding a staff in one hand, and then he looks over his shoulder. "We must approach now with caution."
I completely ignore him, pretend he doesn't exist and that he turned invisible and we lost him ages ago. I stride boldly into the area.
Sure, you just continue ignoring him as you march ahead. And after about half an hour of the trees getting denser and denser and the atmosphere closing on you, you hear up ahead the sound of anvils. You eventually see evening sunlight coming through the trees once again, and you see a big sign that says "Welcome to Darkwood," and then a little sign next to it saying "Human drop-off point to your left. Please form an orderly queue." And then there's like a barrier system that's set into place for you to queue up there, but there is no one in the queue right now. You're at the front of a massive fort whose walls rise up about 50 feet into the sky. Set into this wall is a giant iron gate which glows faintly with a violet glow. And you hear from inside of this a roar of some kind of waterfall. As these huge gates swing open, And then carrying a lantern with the same violet glow steps out a half-orc with somehow rosy cheeks. He has wispy white hair and an equally wispy white beard. He hobbles up to you with his lantern. He's like, "Travelers!"
Hello.
Hi.
How's your accommodation here?
Newt, for the first time, is extremely hesitant now. And he's like, "Excuse me, Morris, I don't quite trust this guy."
Newt knows the plan. Come on.
So then this half-orc almost shakes with excitement now and then pulls from the satchel to his side some really heavy chains and manacles and begins slowly making his way towards Newt. Newt looks at him, looks down at the manacles, then looks at you, Harold. And then he just legs it, rushes off the path to the left, away from you all. And that is where we end the session for this evening.
Let's run him through.